Welcome back to Brightside. It is National Beach Day, something we celebrate very often here in Tampa Bay. Pretty much every day, right?
But guess what? A debate continues over a beach nourishment project in Pinellas County. It's on hold now.
10 Tampa Bay's Jenny Dean joining us live from Sunset Beach this morning with more on the issue and why it's so important to replenish this sand out on our beaches. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, good morning, guys. Here at Sunset Beach, this particular area is set to be renourished next year, which is the good news. But you can see how badly it's needed. I mean, just look at the drop-off here from the sand, and it really shouldn't be quite that steep. Thank goodness for all of the seagrass and the vegetation up there that's keeping a lot of that there. But there is another stretch of beach in Pinellas County that likely won't be getting the sand it desperately needs. We're talking about Sand Key. Now, this is a stretch of the beach that's from about Clearwater Pass south to North Reddington Beach. A renourishment project was scheduled for that section in 2024, but the Army Corps of Engineers may not fund it because they're asking for perpetual easements from every property owner, and that's been difficult to get. So take a look at this map. The section in yellow is the one that I'm talking about right now. There is another stretch of the Pinellas shoreline from Sunshine Beach to Paso Grill, and I'm in the middle of that at Sunset Beach. And it will be renourished next year because that was already budgeted. But according to Pinellas County's Coastal Management Coordinator, these beaches have taken quite a beating since the last renourishment in 2019.
Normally, this beach would be about 155 feet wide right after construction. It does equilibrate after that and change, and the beach starts to erode right away.
So Dr. Bishop says there are three big reasons to make sure that the beaches get renourished. First, the more beach you have, the more protection you have for homes and businesses. Second, it helps the environment. When you have a healthy shoreline and a healthy beachfront, sea turtles can nest, seabirds have places to go. Finally, the big one, tourism. The beaches are what keep people coming here from all over the world. Dr. Bishop says investing just $25 million in beach nourishment can equate to billions of dollars in tourism. So it is a constant process along some of these Pinellas beaches. They need to redo this nourishment every 4 to 6 years. And right now, the nourishment plans for those beaches north of here, all along Sand Key, that's been put on hold until they can get that easement or until they can figure out exactly what to do to get it back in the budget. But Grant, we talked quite a bit about this. I just assumed maybe the waves were hitting the beach, kind of washing some of the sand away, but you say it's much more about the size of the waves.
Yeah, Jenny, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that we see erosion along our beaches. It's not just the huge waves, but sometimes it's the direction that those waves come in. And typically when we look at tropical systems, that's where we're going to see some of the biggest erosion. And we might see a tropical system that's going to stay off our coast, maybe it tracks to the north. We're like, oh, we spared it. We're not going to get as much of an impact. But that southerly flow that comes on the eastern side of a tropical system produces what we call a longshore current. And that current that moves parallel to the shore is responsible for moving large amounts of sediment and sand up along our beaches. Let me explain what happens here. And this happened with Ada back in 2019, or rather 2020. It happened with Elsa just last year as well. We had this parallel flow to our coast, and that produces wave action that comes onto our beaches at an angle. See how those beaches or those waves come onto the beach from the angle there? And what that does is it produces what we call swash. It picks up sand and then it displaces it and moves it a little farther up along the coast. You have that happen repeatedly up along the coast. You get more and more of those angled waves that come up. The swash produces that movement of the sand, and then it pushes back into the ocean, and then we get another push of sand, and it continues to do that over and over and over again. And ultimately it displaces the sand and moves it way up the coast, and that's what we call a longshore drift. So not only is it producing erosion, but it's moving a whole bunch of sand and putting it into a place where we maybe don't want it, and obviously stealing that sand from beaches a little bit farther to the south. So this is just one way that we see this erosion occur along the beach, and ultimately we need to nourish it. We need to get it back in place and kind of smooth and spread everything out. So it's more than just big waves. It's more than just putting sand back onto the beach, but it's putting it back where it needs to be in an even place.